Hello everyone and welcome to Snowfall Gaming. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today we've got a bit of a wrap up to go through. Over the past couple of days we've got a ton of stuff come out about the Sons of Behemat, the obvious new giant Gargant army coming to Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Now, I've taken a couple of days to sort of mull this over and see if we get any more information. I'm glad I didn't do it on the first day because we got a lot more information on the second. We're probably going to get more tonight, which will make this review a little bit irrelevant, but we're going to do it today anyway. So let's get cracking in and have a look and talk a little bit about all the things about Sons of Behemat. So I think I would be remiss to not talk about, to start with, the cost of these models. So the prices have leaked for these models. I can't remember, I think it said £120. I know the price leaked that they're roughly going to be about $320 Australian, and the smaller Gargants, the old Ale Guzzler Gargants, old giant model, is going to be $210 for two in Australia, and I can't remember what that is around the world, but either way that makes them really, really expensive. That puts the two small Gargants around the same cost as Marathi, and the Mega Gargant far above anything in Age of Sigmar, more expensive than both Teclis and Archaon. Now, I know that we can't judge prices based on old models, so I remove, when I think about prices for stuff coming with Age of Sigmar, I remove anything that is pre-Age of Sigmar out of the conversation. So there are no arguments for like, oh, but I can create a Beastclaw Raiders army or a Flesh Eater Courts army cheaper, for so cheap, and they're big monster armies as well. They get moved to the side because they're old models that are priced at a very different price range for a very different time. And GW generally do not update their prices all that often. I mean, we have the annual sort of price increase of about a third of their range, not even most of the time as well. But generally we don't see price increases all that often. I mean, we did see a Start Collecting increase not too long ago, where all the Start Collecting boxes became different prices, but generally those kits are still much cheaper for what they are. I mean, we look at the cost of like the Free Guild General and Griffin, who is under $100, I'm pretty sure, still in Australia. And he's a bigger model almost as the Star Drake, which is over twice his cost, almost 3 times his cost, really. I do feel the Gargants are on the very, very cusp of being too expensive for me personally. I will probably buy one. This price has probably stopped me buying 2 on release, in all honesty. I probably was going to buy a couple on release. I was always planning to buy my Mega Gargants sort of going through the way of, I guess, buying the one for order, because that's the allegiance I play most of, and buying like the ally ones one by one. So I'd have, you know, the Kraken Eater because he's the order one first. He's also the destruction, the 2 main allegiances I play. I then get the chaos one next, and I get the death one last because of the one I played least. And then from there I just buy some man crushers and, or old giants for those who aren't familiar with a new term for them, and that would fill out my army. But I think I'm going to go at a much slower pace than I originally was. This price has definitely slowed down. It's not deterred me, though I know it has deterred a lot of people. Just click continue for cookies to get that out my way. But I don't want to talk too much more about price. It's expensive. I know it is. I'm still going to buy it. I think I'm part of the problem. Or, you know, we can say what we want. I will direct anyone who is really put off by the price to definitely go check out a blog site called Plasticrack. Crack spelled C-A-R-I-C. It is a fantastic blog, and he is a big destruction player at heart and a good friend of mine. And he's put up this thing looking around all the tabletop world, looking at different models for replacement for both Mega Gargants and smaller Gargants, and it's a really great little piece written up really well, and you should definitely go check that out if you're thinking that these Gargants definitely are too pricey for you and you want to find something else. I definitely recommend going and giving that article a read. It's not only just going, here's a cheaper model, it really goes into talking about, explaining some really good in-depth background analysis and sort of research on these models, so definitely go check that out. Could not recommend that more. But let's get on to the rules reviews now, because that's what we're all here to talk about. So we've had 2 rules reviews for the Mega Gargants so far. The first one, this is Mega Gargants on the table. I will say that this picture here, this sold me on the limited edition Battle Tome. I am definitely getting the limited edition Battle Tome because it's got this artwork in full picture. It's an amazing piece of artwork, easily one of my favourite covers for a Battle Tome. Anyway, so we've got this cool little fight scene, and what does this say up here? If a single, yeah, it's just talking about the Gargants, you know, a single one's deadly, multiple, and so now we get into looking at the Gargant stat block. So we've got move dash, we've got the little asterisks for the move, so they're going to degrade in movement, which could be an issue. Like degrading movement is always something I really am not a fan of having on models. It can really hurt them. I have this on, I'm pretty sure it's on the things like the Charybdis, the Hydrus, get this, and it really does hurt them when they start taking wounds. But looking at those wounds, 35 of them. Now I know 35 wounds at a 4-up save, there's a lot of things that can take that off the board pretty easily, but we don't know all the rules for these Gargants, so I'm waiting to pass judgment on them for that defensive ability, mainly because most War Scroll abilities, or most ward saves I should say, most ward saves are War Scroll abilities, or they are allegiance abilities and stuff like that, or sub-faction abilities. But the really cool thing about this though is that you got to remember those Mega Gargants are also all characters, so they can take artifacts. So there's some cool things we can do with that potentially. Bravery 7 is cool. I don't think you can have them too much higher when they're out. Like, it doesn't make sense. Gargants aren't the most brave creatures. They're big and they're strong, but also not that smart. And they will sort of, you know, they're not the bravest of creatures. If they're getting hurt, they're not going to fight it. So, Sons of Behemat, if a spell, or this is a cool rule as well, just helping with that survivability. This is the sort of thing that I'm talking about, where it's not necessarily in their stat block or in any weapon profiles or armor save and stuff that we're going to see, but as if a spell or ability would slay this model without any wounds or mortal wounds being inflicted by the spell or ability, they suffer d6 mortal wounds instead. So this is thing like Slayer of Kings, the Realm Splitting Axe. Marathi has a rule like this, doesn't she, as well, but I don't believe it can work on them. Hand of Dust, all that sort of thing. So it's really cool. And then obviously they got a cool timber rule. I'm not a fan of the Rolloff, in all honesty. I think it should just be able to be the Gargant player's choice, mainly because the Gargant players died. Though I do get the narrative aspect, I guess, of the rule, being, you know, the units that are killing the Gargant are purposely like hacking at the back of its legs so it falls backwards and not onto them and stuff like that. I get narratively how this works, but I'm not sure it should be a roll-off. I think you should just give the Gargant player their models died, let them cause D3 mortal wounds to what they want. And now we get looking into the particular Gargants. So we've got the Kraken Eater Gargant. This is a cool dude. He's probably one of my favourite. I really do like him a lot. So he's got Held Debris, range 24, 3 4s and 3s, Ren 1 damage D3. And it's okay. And like with most of their stuff like that, they're pretty okay. Like damage 2, Death Grip, damage D6, D3 damage for his Almighty Stomp. The cool thing, and like most of them are pretty similar in their damage profile, they don't put out an awful lot of damage by the looks of this. Damage 2 on like their giant clubs is interesting. But the damage profile here is really cool, that he has to take 12 wounds to actually drop a profile to begin with. And like 12, and like they really don't drop an awful lot, which is really cool. Mainly just his Held Debris here really drops a lot. It's quite cool. Like, I like that their damage profiles don't drop a lot, and like just their abilities and all the things that with the asterisks don't drop a lot. So it really does mean you actually have to do quite a significant amount of damage to them to actually lower them and make them less deadly. You can stuff them in Mnet. So this is pretty cool. It's just like, you know, the old stuff them in my pants. You can pick up to D3 enemy models within 3 inches of the model and roll a dice. If it's at least double that model's wound characteristic, it is slain. So obviously if you're fighting 1 wound models, you're just trying to roll a 2-up. This is really cool. Once again, another good rule for like picking out banner bearers that might be helping your unit stay in combat against your Gargant. Or, you know, very important things like picking out that Lumineth Sergeant or that Hekatos in Alciarch Bone Reapers. Cool, another picture fighting Fastlane. And yeah, just another one. This one can Hell Body, which is pretty cool. And throw enemies at each other. That's really cool. Once per combat phase, you can pick one enemy model within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. Add the held body modifier shown on this model's damage table to the roll. If the roll is at least double the enemy model's wound characteristic, it is slain, which is pretty cool. On a 4+, you can pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of this model. Invisible to it, that unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the wounds characteristic of the slain model. So this is pretty cool. You know, you'd be trying to find a 3-wound model and squish it out of there. Chuck it. Titanic Boulder Club. Add damage. So the attack characteristic of the Titanic Boulder Club is equal to the number of enemy models within 3 inches of the attacking model. Add the Titanic Boulder Club value to the attacking model's damage table to the total. And add 4 to the total for each enemy monster within 3 inches of the attacking model. So what does this mean? Okay. It's equal to the number of enemy models within 3 inches of the attacking model. Add the Titanic Boulder Club value on the attacking model's damage table to the total, and add 4 to the total for each enemy monster within 3 inches of the attacking model. If this modifies the attack characteristic of the Titanic Boulder Club is less than 1, count it as 1. Cool. And can only count as being 10 max. That's pretty cool. Why did they have to cap it? That could have been really cool. Send him into hordes. I don't like that was capped, honestly. And then yeah, him again, you know, Foot Crusher Flail. He's pretty cool. He seems to be the most damagey of any of them, in all honesty. And this is a cool one because he can smash apart terrain features, which I really, really like. He can remove their effects. It's awesome. Bye-bye Sylvaneth Wildwoods, Ideneth Boats, or even Skaven Norholes, Fireforges from KO. It's awesome. And then we go into the Man Crushers. So these are the old giants. They're now being able to take in units of 1 to 3. And you can go, after this model makes a charge move, pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of it and roll a dice. So the roll is equal to or greater than the stomping charge value shown. 2+, yeah, pretty easy. D3 mortal wounds. And they can throw rocks if they're near one of the Mega Gargants as well, which is cool. So yeah, Man Crushers, they're okay. 12 wounds, 5 up save, you know, nothing to write home about, but they got a decent amount of attacks. Damage of 1 is pretty okay. But now we'll get looking into, I guess, the second preview that they've shown off. So better in bulk. Mightier makes rightier. This is such a stupid name for a rule. Honestly, I'm a fan of this. I like it. It's simple. It doesn't try and do too much. Yes, I guess it's taken a little bit away from ogres and what they do, but this was the thing people were always asking for and people were always talking about, honestly. So each Man Crusher Gargant, so the little Gargants, counts as 10 instead of 1, and each Mega Gargant, so all the big guys, count as 20 instead of 1. What's really great about this is they don't degrade. So if that Mega Gargant is on 1 wound, he still counts as 20 models for holding objectives. This is incredibly powerful rule late game. Having played some of my ogres recently and my Beast Claw, knowing what this can do late game, where you just decide to retreat out your big models into combat and jump on objectives and score points really easily just because you have so many models counting as, is just awesome. This is such a powerful tool, and it's more powerful than you think. It's not just for capping objectives, like the retreating onto objectives and winning games late is really great with this. Stomper Tribes. So Stomper Tribes, I think this is one of like the sub-factions, I believe. Add 1 to the damage inflicted with each successful attack made by a Man Crusher Gargant unit that targets a unit with 10 or more models, and add 2 instead of 1 to the damage inflicted if it has 20 or more models in the unit you're attacking. This This makes these Man Crusher Gargants horrendously good. All of a sudden their damage just like spikes so high. It's really, really cool. I like them. Grab those rocks and chuck them at something. Command ability, and you can give them the Chuck Rocks battle trait, which is pretty cool. And the War Stomper, you can use this command ability to start your movement phase. If you do so until the end of that phase, if you make a run roll for a friendly Man Crusher Gargant unit that is within 18 inches of your general, it's treated as being a 6. Really cool. I really like this. This is pretty darn cool. Breaker Tribes, Fierce Loathing. When you pick a Breaker Tribe army, you can choose or roll for one ability from the Fierce Loathings table. This ability applies to the Gatebreaker, Mega Gargant, and friendly Man Crusher Gargant units. So this is really cool as well. You just got a whole host of different abilities you can get. You can add one to hit rolls that target a hero or wizard, hit totems. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of different things you can specialize your dudes in. Pretty darn cool. There's, very. So let's have a look. Unfortunately, it's when you pick an army. I was thinking, I'm like, oh, when is this taken? But unfortunately, it is when you pick an army, so you're not going to be able to like take it to a tournament and sort of key into your opponent. You have to pick it before part of your list. Breaking down the houses, add 1 to the damage inflicted for each successful attack made by a friendly Man Crusher Gargant unit that targets a unit as part of a garrison or wholly within a terrain feature. And they can also bring down the terrain features, which is again really, really cool. Really love this. And then Taker Tribes, which is the coolest name of all the tribes. I love the idea of Taker Tribes. It just reminds me of like, oh, this is all the Undertaker from WWE's Taker Tribes. People just worshipping the Undertaker. Don't know why that's what it made me think of, but that's what it did. When using the Mighty Makes Righty rule to determine 15 and 30. Oh, damn. That's really cool. That might be one of the best rules I've seen. I was talking about like how powerful that rule is, but going to 15 and 30, that means that a unit of Man Crushers, a full one, is 45. That's really good. Yeah, wow. Mnet as the Beast Reaver, that's pretty cool as well. So this is something cool. Kraken Eaters have access to 6 artifacts of power instead of 3. So, okay, so there's only 3 artifacts for the other ones, but the Kraken Eaters get 6, and they've got this one, Mnet of the Beast Reaver, which you can subtract on a 4+. It's on a 4+. If this was just automatic, this would be amazing to really help your Kraken Eater kill other monsters. More stuff for my collection. Each time an enemy model with an artifact of power is slain, you can roll for a triumph on the triumph table. You can use that triumph during the current battle, even if you have already used it. That's really cool. I like that. That's nice and flavorful. Can be done. And yeah, so that's everything we've got so far from the Sons of Behemat. I'm liking what I see. I think the first reveal, obviously, there was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction online towards it, but we hadn't seen the full picture, and I think that's why I held off doing this review, just to see if there was more. And I'm glad there was. Like, we got a good look at the different ones. I personally am a fan of the Kraken Eaters. For those who know me, I really like my Scourge Privateers and my Pirates, so I can see me getting one of these and making him a crew member of my Scourge Privateers. I look forward to getting one and converting him up. But I'd like to know what everyone else thinks about the Sons of Behemat and what you thought about all the rules that you've seen so far. Leave some comments down below and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. While you're at it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date with everything we're doing on Cinderful Gaming. Also, in the link description, you'll find a link to a Discord server where you can come join me and the rest of our fantastic community and come chat all things Warhammer. Lastly, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who supports the channel via Patreon. You guys are all fantastic, and if you'd like to also support the channel via Patreon, you can find a link down in the description of the video as well. A special thank you to Christian Weir, Philip Ward, Chaos Spawn, Soren and Kenny Lau, our Sinful Free Guild Regiment Militias members, and our Free Guild Regiment members, James and AJC. Thank you so much for supporting us. It means the world. That's it for today though, folks. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.